My name's Luke. I am a freshman at NYU TISH Drama. I'm in Strasbourg. In terms of the NYU bubble, it's a good question because, frankly, like I get emails 2-3 times a day with opportunities to go, like film and collaborate, or to create something new. Or I got friends who just shoot me a text like, "Hey, I've written something. You want to come be in it?" And out of simplicity's sake, it's a lot easier. But of course, that's not to say that there isn't any other artistic outlets or creators that you can't collaborate outside of NYU itself. But yeah, sure it exists. And frankly, it's just out of convenience that I think I take advantage of it. No, I would consider myself within the bubble. Yeah. You are limiting yourself if you're going back to the same people over and over again. Yeah, like it's great to make partnerships with people and build connections, but at some point you do have to branch out, and eventually you graduate from NYU, and then again, like you've got your connections with the people you've gone to school with, but in the real world you're going to end up working with people outside of NYU. So I think ultimately you're disadvantaging yourself if you do stick within that bubble as much as possible. There is a need to branch out, but that's not to say that you can't take advantage of it in the first place and use it as a starting point or something to go back to because it's stable or something like that.
I'm Nick. I am also at NYU TISH Drama. I'm in the Strasbourg studio. And about the bubble, I think there's definitely NYU bubble, and I think like within NYU there's like smaller bubbles. Like I think there's a TISH bubble, and I think there's like a acting bubble and a Strasbourg bubble even. And I think that's like, it has its benefits, but I also don't think it limits you. Like I think it's definitely, like here tonight, like we're hanging out with kids from our acting class, and that's a lot of fun. It's really cool. People we collaborate with and work a lot and spend a lot of time with, and in class get very intimate emotionally with. And it's nice that we have that bond and that camaraderie. And I think within the acting program, there's a lot of camaraderie and bonding too, just over similar passions. And even like within TISH, just so many creative, artistic people who love so many of the same things. But I don't think it's limiting. Like, I've hung out with people from other programs at NYU. I've hung out with people who don't go to NYU. I've coming to the park and meeting people from Columbia and New School and all that. I think one of the things that, I know I'm going to sound like I'm a commercial for NYU, but one of the things I really liked is that it's like you're very much like an independent person just living in New York. It's like an independent artist living on your own, making those connections, working with yourself. And so I don't feel like I'm limited to my college or I'm limited by my program. I feel like I can hang out within that bubble, and I can also leave that bubble if I need to. I think if that's where they're more comfortable, that's a good thing, but I would, extend to them the idea of trying to get out there and trying to learn more, because I think, like you said, like once you graduate, you're not going to have that bubble, and I think that the earlier you can build those connections and build that comfortability, like outside that bubble, I think that you're going to be better off for it. I also think you're just going to have more fun, Like, TISH kids get along really well because we're all, I feel like, very much like came from high school. We weren't necessarily the most popular kids, but we were passionate, and we've come here where we are around all these passionate, creative people who love so many of the same things we do, and it's really comforting, and it's really nice, and it's really fulfilling to be around these people. And so I think that, and also the thing about the TISH kids is we all collaborate, like the acting kids and the film kids, and like all these groups kind of collaborate and work with one another, and are making art together. And I think that's so beautiful that you can have friendships, but you can also have partnerships, and I think that's nice.
I'm from small town Minnesota. I'm near the St. Paul, the capital, but for me it was a huge shift, not only to move to a place where I don't know many people. A lot of my support systems, family, friends are hundreds of miles away, but also like just geographically, so many more things packed together, much more people with much less open space. That was a hard shift for me. And it took me a while, but I think, again, kind of going back to the idea of the bubble, after my classes got starting, which are going really well, by the way, it was nice to have a community of people who I know for sure. All right, on these times during these days when I have my classes, I will see this group of people. I know I like these 3 people in my class, and I can talk with them and get like lunch with them, and kind of forming that schedule and structure and stability help bring things together. So I think in that way, yeah. Having a bubble within a bubble, like just my community of people in my acting studio, was fantastic. And that was something that was really nice for me to build off of as a freshman. But with that being said, now that I have that foundation of people I'm comfortable working with and the places I'm comfortable using, you can build off. And now, like I've got a show on the university radio show, and I've met people who do the radio show. And I met kids in the film department, and now we've got like a sketch group, and there's people from all sorts of different majors or backgrounds or whatever coming together to make stupid comedy sketches together. Or you meet people's roommates, and there's a roommate in like psychology, and you have like an interesting conversation about science, because that's something I miss. So I think having that foundation built, being able to move up from there and meet other people, has been great. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think so far my first couple months and a half have been going really well.
Definitely say that my experience is probably a little different, because I was somebody who was very ready for college. I felt like I really needed, I didn't have a bad time in high school growing up, but I definitely did not have the life that I wanted, and I definitely didn't see myself growing a lot there, and so I saw college as a lot of this very much this escape thing. I was holding on to that, and being here, I've felt like I've been able to be more of the person I am and chase that person I want to be, and be around other people who are like me and are interested in things I'm interested in, and try to respect me for that, and I respect them for that, and I think that it is a little anecdotal, but I was so emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally ready for college. The kind of coming here was just like the icing on the cake. It was just like very much, we're getting interviewed. It was very much something I was ready for. It was something I was prepared for, but it didn't come out without without hardship. I mean, definitely a little bit was kind of weird, meeting people, but after a bit, meeting people in my class and getting that kind of stability and comfortability level, then I was, I've really been having the best time of my life. I don't know what to say about that.
I've been a very academically rooted person. Ever since the idea of college gets into your mind, I'm very thankful my parents and family and friends never put that pressure on me themselves, but you still feel it nonetheless. So there was lots of work to I've got to take this class and get this grade and know these people and do this amount of clubs so I can build my college resume and then turn it into all these colleges. And now that I'm here, that it's cliche, but it does feel like I've started a very different, maybe new part of my life where a lot of these things no longer matter. And at least this past month and a half has totally just been a playground where I don't need to worry about my grades for every single class. I just say, I'm doing the work, I'm applying myself, and I'm having fun. I should get an A, or and if I don't, that's fine too, because ultimately it doesn't really matter. And that whole pressure on my shoulders has been lifted off. And I think for me that's been the biggest shift between high school and college. Funnily enough, because I've got plenty of friends in STEM schools and STEM majors that are all even the same as high school and more, academically speaking. But now it's all of that has been lifted off, and I'm just having fun, which is great.
Be nice to everybody. You never know who you're gonna run into down the road. You never know who's gonna be your friend, who's gonna be in your class, who's gonna be someone you date down the line. You're never gonna know any of that. So really be nice and be kind and be open to things. Kind of don't entirely lose yourself, but also be willing to change and be willing to grow, and don't judge yourself for that, but recognize that it's healthy and it's normal. And I think really use it as a time to experiment safely. I mean, you're living on your own. You're in a new place with new people. It's a new thing, and I think it's like trials for yourself to figure out who you're going to be and who you are, and all that. So I think just really be open, but don't lose yourself. And moving to New York, don't be an idiot. It's not as scary and dangerous, at least for me, I found in certain parts, if you're smart and if you're careful and just use common sense. Try a lot of shit. I think so much about New York is no matter who you are or what you're interested in, there's gotta be cool shit for you, and gotta be cool shit. Like, I love movies. That's my passion. That's the love of my life. And so I go see a lot of movies at art house theaters, and I get to see screenings with cool people. And that's amazing. But I think for everybody, there's always something that you can find and something you can kind of grow with. So just be open and try new things and have fun.
Well, and frankly, there's a lot of people around you who are better at other things than you are, or doing more things than you are, or maybe they're not, but you have this perception that they are, and you look around and you see, a celebrity once a week walking down the street in Washington Square Park, or you're in your class and someone is doing, twice the work you are, or like they're doing all sorts of extracurriculars and all sorts of projects outside of class. And it's a lot more than you may be used to. And I think what you got to do is, I mean, really, honestly, just focus on yourself and your own work and your own progress. Focus on your own growth. You cannot keep constantly comparing yourself to all these other people around you. They're fantastic collaborators, and I strongly believe in surrounding yourself in a space where there's people smarter than you all of the time, because that's the best way to learn. But you can't look at yourself between you and anyone else in the room and say like, oh, well, they're better, or they have this done, or like they've reached this milestone and I haven't. It's all really a personal journey, and you can't get that competitive in that kind of way. You gotta stay in your own lane.
NYU worth the 80K?
It is. I think. I think that just being here, at least, I'm just going to speak strictly from an artist's point of view, because I think that's where I can speak the most truthfully. For me, I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee, so I'm not from somewhere with a lot of opportunity, and being able to be here and have this training and this education and with these amazing people, and even I think that so much of your education comes from the city, like at least for me, I mean, being able to start acting work and being able to collaborate with film kids and be able to go to movie premieres and movie screenings and hear talks from people that I admire and that I love. I got to hear fucking Denzel Washington talk to me. I mean, that's not something I ever thought would happen. I mean, that's just all these things about New York and about these amazing people you're with is going to fuel you and is going to add to your education, which I don't think a lot of places can. And I think that it's not a basic, typical college experience, which is daunting for a lot of people, but for me, that's what I wanted. And like I said before, I'm having the best time I've ever had in my life, and I'm happier than I've ever been, and I'm more confident than I've ever been. And, I think so much of that is part of to the school and to definitely being here and all that, and it's been amazing. So yes, I would say come join and we'll hang out.
I strongly believe it depends on how you use the resources that are presented to you. There are hundreds of clubs, hundreds of student groups, so many opportunities to take advantage of the fantastic equipment that they have available for students to rent out for filmmaking, or for other sorts of arts, or programs on computers. They've got the whole Adobe suite. But if you're not using that stuff and you go back to your dorm and you use your own equipment that you've brought, or you stick with the same group of people, and you don't expand out to take advantage of really all of this support and equipment and resources and opportunities available to you because you're at NYU, you're missing out, and it is nowhere near worth the tuition you're paying. Some things are overpriced, but I think it really balances out if you know how to use your time here at the school.
At Nick underscore Skonberg, NICK underscore SKONBERG on Instagram. And yeah, if there's any directors out there, please cast me in any project.
My name is Luke Wisniewski. My Instagram is at Wisniewski underscore. Wisniewski is spelled WISNIEWSKI underscore. I like writing comedy pieces. I'm an actor as well. Cast me in anything. I just want to work. I just want to get experience. I can act, sing, and dance all at the same time.
Multi-talented.
Yeah.